Welcome to the Best of Kai Greene Tournament Series. Today's comparison features the 2012 Sheru Classic versus the 2013 Mr.Olympia versions of Kai Greene. This is basically a repeat of my most recent matchup. It was the 2011 Sheru Classic versus the renowned 2012 Mr.Olympia. But I do not like to talk about that matchup. It was a devastating blow to hand a loss to that 2012 version of Kai Greene. But let's get right into this matchup here. It appears the Sheru Classic is in better condition. But look at those arms on the Mr. Olympia version. Yes, he is much fuller and the abs are washed out perhaps a little bit. But those arms, those guns, very impressive. I am not going to hand a point out either way, either version in this first front double bicep pose. As these two versions turn around, they display two very handsome rear double bicep poses, for sure. But in my opinion here, this Sheru Classic 2012 version has a superior back development, at least in this pose. Look at that lower lat thickness. I believe the legs are a little bit better as well. Along with the glutes, a little bit tighter. I believe his conditioning is a little bit better here from behind. So after two poses, I give a slight advantage to the Sheru Classic version. Here in the front lat spread, however, I am leaning toward the Mr. Olympia version. Those legs appear to be a little bit more separated. I'm not so sure if they're bigger or not. They appear to be larger, but that may be the illusion of that separation. The lats, however, are filled out thusly and definitely gets the nod in this pose. It is a tough one here in the rear lat spread. Most of the time, I prefer the more massive versions in this pose anyway. But I don't know, that Sheru Classic version, look at the width. But more than that, it's that detail, the separation in the lat muscles. Look at the lower lat thickness, though, in the 2013 Mr. Olympia. Tough decision here in the rear lat spread. I don't feel comfortable handing out a point either way. So, slightly inconclusive, and I hate to do that. Here in the side chest pose, and there is definitely aspects of the Mr. Olympia version that are superior. Look at those legs, the tie-ins, those quads. Man, those quads are fantastic. But at the end of the day, I am leaning toward Sheru Classic. Not only is the arms a little bit more impressive, especially when you look at those delts, but once again, I point to that midsection of Kai Greene. And I've taken some criticism in the past for pointing out that gut. And I've actually had a comment from that dude that first mentioned that I should not mention this gut. And listen, punk, I'll deal with goofs like you any which way that I please. So, you can comment all you want, but expect a little bit of backlash. Deal with it, buddy. And I'm not going to read that big novel you sent me, by the way. But back to business, that huge stomach in 2013. No way would I give him a point because of that gut. That is the midsection is very important to bodybuilding. People need to understand that. Anyway, Sheru Classic gets a point here. For all intensive purposes, this Mr. Olympia version should really have knocked off an easy point here. He is the much more massive version after all, but that is not the case. Look at the separation of those abs. He may be a little tiny bit smaller in the Sheru Classic version, but the separation in those abs just accentuates each and every one of his massive mounds of muscle. Look at the feathering, just as crisp as a cup of tea. No, actually, a cup of tea is not crisp at all, so forget that comment, and it's as crisp as a cold day, perhaps. Anyway, it looks like another upset here. These Sheru Classic versions of Kai Greene are very impressive. Let's finish this off with an ab and thigh. I think we can all agree that the Sheru Classic version takes this one. Look at the separation in those abs, but more than that, that lack of separation in the 2013 Mr. Olympia Kai Greene. That was his downfall. And that, along with many other reasons perhaps, is why he did not defeat Dr. Phil that year. But like I said, perhaps many other reasons as well. Wow, what a matchup. But I must say, I was shocked at the performance of both Sheru Classic versions. There is this other ab and thigh. For any of you who questioned whether or not I picked the right winner, look at the distended midsection of this 2013 Kai Greene. The conditioning was there. Look at the separation of the abs even, and the obliques. Very impressive. Massive quads, I must say. Biggest in the business. But the biggest gut, perhaps, in the business as well. And that was today's matchup. The 2012 Sheru Classic version of Kai Greene advances on.
Advance.
So, it looks like it's up to the 2014 Mr. Olympia here in the next matchup to really prove that the Olympia versions were nothing to spit at, as I just handed 2 losses to the 2012 and the 2013 Mr. Olympia in a row, and that's disappointing, but I have to call it like I see it. The 2013 Pro Prog Championships takes on that 2014 Mr. Olympia version, and that will be the next matchup in this tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate so much. Lately, I've been getting more subscribers than I ever have before, and I believe it is because I ask you. And I ask you once again, for those of you who haven't, click that subscribe button. Please do so. Each and every one gets me closer to that 1,000 subscriber goal. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and have a good day.